Geron Ruiz joins me for our spoken word segment, Spoken Word Artists, Poets Corner, a safe space every single Friday for those in the field. And you were literally here with me a couple of weeks ago talking about a showcase, and I'm happy we're going to get a chance to experience your work this morning. Great to see you again, G.
Nice to see you as well. Thank you.
Respect, man.
Thank you.
So again, in terms of the ability, at what point it went from just sharing probably with close friends and family to the wider audience? At what point you took that big step? I know you're part of a showcase. You mentioned that a couple of weeks ago, but could you recall first kind of performances, first time you really started to engage total strangers with your work?
Yeah, the first time would have been early 2020. The first time I would have been interested to do spoken would have been in 2019 during my English SB. But I remember at the start of 2020, right before the pandemic, I was interested in joining the National Poetry Slam. And I spoke to a bunch of my friends, my father, and I was like, should I do this? I don't really know, because it was still something that I wasn't really sure about. And I remember sitting down. I remember the exact conversation I had with my dad. It was in the church car park in Malabar, RC, and he was like, if you go for it, we're gonna lose. So
was it a confidence thing? You wasn't sure if like you was wondering how people will accept your work?
A bit, yeah, because I was very new to it. It wasn't something like a lot of poets have this thing where like, oh, I've been writing since I was 6, and I have poets going back to second year, poems going back to second year, and I didn't have that. So it was something new for me, so I wasn't sure about it.
Yeah, and I ask every poet every single week in terms of when your piece is complete. At what point is the full stop really a full stop, or is your piece ever truly finished?
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely something a lot of poets would experience, where you would think about a line that would be like, okay, this line could go really good in this poem, or experience something, or just not even relate to a poem anymore and just shelve it.
What you seem to lean towards when you're a writer? What seems to be a general theme?
I write about a lot typically, but thematically I use a lot of comedy in terms of like how I get across my things, and performance-wise I think is one of the easiest, not easiest, but I think it's one of the most skillful ways to get across a point and also engaging an audience.
Yeah, and people listen also.
Yeah.
Because naturally, yes, you'll get a punchline inside there and people will laugh, and then they keep listening for the next punchline, but then sometimes the next punchline never comes, and you take them on that journey in terms of where you need to get them.
Definitely.
With the message. So I understand. I trust me, it's something I utilize also a lot. Hey, well, G, your piece is called Headlines. Never heard it before. And the nation and myself, we standing by to take it in. It's your Poets Corner, of course. Headlines. Enjoy.
St. Stephen's holds peace walk after student dies by suicide. Males are 2 times more likely to die by suicide globally. Man dies by suicide at Port of Spain waterfront. Male suicide rises in TNT. Between 2020 and 2023, there were 478 suicide victims in Trinidad and Tobago, where 4 out of 5 victims were men. How tragic it must be to have your life or your death summed up by a brief headline or statistic. This soul that was once filled with wishes, now just a number or a headline. I wonder what that must feel like, to have your name shining in the People article, but what some people don't realize, and becoming the 45th suicide of the year is more significant than your real life. But they probably tried everything before they decided to see skies. See, I am a man. That means I'm born with a disposition to despise this position. I know plenty men who try to live their life, and I know a handful who try to take their own too. And I had to sit down and listen to my brothers talk about the date that they choose and try not to hug them. Because we grow up learning how to respect man, not to love them. But you see that thinking, I trying to unlearn that. I trying to show my brothers that love, you don't need to earn that. You deserve that. But my brothers don't know how to feel. They know how to cope. My brothers don't know how to deal, they know how to fold. My brothers don't know how to heal, they know how to hold. My brothers don't know how to speak, we know how to joke. Let your feelings be captured inside a meme or inside a post. Life as a man, you're either walking on a tight one or hanging off a rope, so you don't know. Or then again, maybe you do. But I'd rather you plead ignorance than incompetence. I'd rather you be blissfully unaware than knowingly not comfort us. Some of we just walk around knowing that death not going to come for us because we actually choosing to go to him instead. And if you don't like how it sound, imagine what it feel like. My words is just a poem. Some people's words is their real life. For years, we're talking about male suicide prevention, but what some people don't realize is that it's easier to ask for forgiveness rather than permission for you to see skies. And the worst part, this poem will probably change nothing. Do you know how helpless that feels? Knowing that killing myself might get my point across better than this poem. Do you know how helpless that feels? For the headline to read, Geron Ruiz, 22, dead to suicide, and knowing that that is a better line than I could ever write. Do you know how helpless that feels? Knowing that there'll probably be countless more headlines after me. Please check up on your male friends when they need, please. Men, it's also our responsibility, I know. I know sadness has its claws wrapped around that heart of yours. I know you've been having thoughts about what life might look like without you having yours. Please, go to therapy. Talk about how you feel. Let's have a million ways you could make a headline by being somebody. But in order to do that, you need to be. So please, be. Thank you.
Geron, Geron, let me tell you, that one was deep. You had a line inside there, bro. It blew my mind. You said, death doesn't have to come to you. It's almost like you said, like, people...
You go into it.
You go into it then. Like, basically, you're doing risky behavior. That one, yeah, you know, that line blew my mind. Bro, that's a real strong piece. What's the general feedback when you perform that one?
People, it's a bit of a heavier one. I saw the irony immediately when I was like, oh yeah, I usually use comedy in my pieces, and then I come out and I do this very heavy
I didn't want to wait until laugh, man. I say this man went different.
Yeah, but the feedback to it is generally a heavier mood, but people listen, and I think that's important for a topic like this. It's something that's very important to me, and it's a poem that I feel like I will perform until I die, and hopefully it will stop being an issue.
Yeah, and it could probably inspire some men, as you rightfully say, to get help, not suffer in silence. So many times, you know, you feel like, you know, you can handle it, and really and truly we can't sometimes, most times. So, important piece, timely piece. How can folks stay in touch with you, G?
So you could follow me on Instagram, on my personal Instagram. That's ger_the_artist. Ger, like my name, G-E-R. You'll probably see it on the screen somewhere. But also on Instagram, you could follow my poetry group, The Strugglers, as well as the NGO that I work with called Roots Foundation 868. That's the main places.
Yeah, look at that's the man right there, Geron. Yes. That's right. G, all the best, man.
Thank you so much.
Great work. Great to have you back with us, and continue putting pen to paper, putting your thoughts out there and sharing with us. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, you know, I personally enjoy this segment. Your Poets Corner every single Friday, a safe space for the spoken word artists to use words and inspire a nation. Up next, some music to take us up till 8 o'clock. It's going to be lots of fun. Stick around.